one and all. On behalf of Philosophy family, I extend a hearty welcome to all the viewers to be associated with the academic platform of Philosophy family. And at the outset, I extend my congratulations to Mr. Pintu Das, the guest faculty, Department of Philosophy, Rajendra University, Balangir, for being invited as a speaker in today's webinar. I extend my congratulations to Mr. Pintu Das. And as Dr. Rajkishar has pronounced that Mr. Pintu Das is a very good scholar in Indian philosophy. He is also a student lover teacher, and he has already delivered many lectures in different platforms, and many articles of Mr. Pintu Das have been published in different national journals. And today, the topic of Mr. Pintu Das is the concept of time in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy. Time or kala is considered as a fundamental substance or category which governs the sequence of events and experience. The discussion of Mr. Pintu Das will definitely provide a philosophical framework for understanding the nature of reality, including the relationship between time, space, and causation. And we are waiting to the talk of Mr. Pintu Das. On this occasion, I extend my welcome and pranam to Professor Ranjit Ghosa, the senior professor of our country, Professor Avinash, the senior professor of our country, and other teachers of our country. And I extend my welcome to Professor Dr. Pramod Kumar Das, the Arbini, host and convener of Philosophy family, and my friend Dr. K. Umnaran Rao, the moderator of Philosophy family. And with this, I extend my good wishes to all the students of Rajendra University, Balangir, and other universities to be associated with us in this academic platform. And I request Mr. Pintu Das, and his teacher is also with us. I request, the HOD of Rajendra University, Dr. Rajkishar sir is with us. I extend my pranam to Dr. Rajkishar sir. So with this, I welcome Mr. Pintu Das, Assistant Professor of the Department of Philosophy, Rajendra University, to commence his talk on the scheduled topic. Over to Mr. Pintu Das. Sir, start, sir.
Hari Om, Namaste all of you. Good evening, all the dignitaries, all my respected professors, the coordinator of this forum, Professor P.K. Das sir, Dr. K.C. Moharana sir, Professor K. Omnaran sir, and our respected HOD, Dr. Rajkishar Patro sir, and the senior most faculty, Professor Ranjit Ghosh sir. My pranam and extend my pranam and namaskar to all of you and all my dear students and dear friends who are gathered here for this today's lecture. It gives me a great pleasure to share my thoughts with you to this enlightening session where we step into one of the most profound and subtle domains of Indian philosophical thought, the concept of time. We all know that time is something that we all experience in our daily life. Yet it remains one of the most elusive and we can say mysterious aspects of existence. Today, we explore how the Nyaya-Vaishesika school of Indian philosophy, with its analytical rigor and realism, approaches this profound phenomenon, not just as a fleeting experience, but as an essential and eternal category that underpins the workings of the cosmos. Now, before stepping into my topic, the concept of time in Indian philosophy, Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy specifically, I would like to present some of the views regarding time in Indian philosophy because it is necessary to know what time, in what way time is to be considered in Indian philosophy in overall way. If we revisit and carefully investigate the entire philosophical systems of Indian subcontinent, from very well-known philosophical schools from Charvaka, the materialistic school of Indian philosophy, to the Vedanta, especially Advaita Vedanta and the other sections of Vedanta like Visishta Advaita, Dvaita, Dvaita, and all other sects of Vedanta. So from Charvak to Vedanta, all these philosophical sects talks about existence, reality, and the concept of being. Now, in what way they have treated the concept of time in their philosophy? This is the question. Now, I will not get into the so much deeper all their philosophical systems in detail, but if we visit their uh, philosophy, then there are almost two types or two kinds of theory that will be emerged or came out. The first one is absolute view, that is called sometimes eternalist view of time. Another one is relational view or dependent view. Absolutist view holds that there is time, it's the first thing. Secondly, time exists in all times. That means past, present, future. So they hold a eternal view of time which is all pervasive by nature and independent of our objects or observer also. So they have presented time in a more realistic way. This school includes Nyaya-Vaishesika, definitely, and Mimamsa philosophy and Jain philosophy. Another group of theory which holds a dependent or relational view of time is called Buddhism, Sankhya philosophy, Yoga philosophy, Charvaka philosophy, and especially Vedanta philosophy. These are the dependent view. Now, among this dependent view, there are also four types. The first one is time as action only. Time as action only. That means time has been identified in terms of action or activity. This theory is called Kriya Kala, that is advocated by the Sankhya philosophers mainly. Another one is time is the product of Maya. Time is the product of Maya. This theory has been propounded by Gaudapada, the teacher of Shankaracharya, and the Shankaracharya himself. These two. Another theory is that time is only momentarious, continuous flow. Prabhavaman Vijnana Santano Dhara, the continuous flow of time. This theory is upholded by Buddhism, especially Sotantric and Vaibhasik and Sotantric Buddhism. And the fourth one is time is nothing but the potency of the Shabda Brahma, the potency. That means time as a Shakti. This theory is particularly held by one and only one philosopher, Bhartrihari, the famous philosopher of language in Indian tradition. So these are the four views regarding time in Indian philosophy, especially in the category of relational view of time or dependent view of time. Their view actually, whether why is it called dependent or relational? Because firstly, it must be clear to all of us that time has no independent existence at all in their philosophy. Whether time, be it a product of Maya, be it a product of Prakriti also in the Sankhya context, or is it a potency that adheres in the absolute reality that is called Brahman, and time is a momentary. There is no such a absolute permanent eternal view of time. Whatever is there is the continuous flux of these changes, that is called prabhoman vijnana santan, that the Buddhist says in their technical term. So it is a moment, completely moment, or particularly yoga philosophy, it says it's a shana, instantaneous moment. More particular way, yoga emphasize the Buddhist view. We can say yoga refined the view of Buddhist. So this is all about the things regarding relational view or dependent view of time. Now, our motto is that the absolute view or eternalistic approach of time, where Mimamsa, Jain, and Nyaya-Vaishesika upholds. Now, these three schools treats time as a substance. Whether Jain accept is a anastikaya drabya, Nyaya-Vaishesika is a drabya, and Mimamsa also is a drabya. So, according these three schools of Indian philosophy, they accept the independent, absolute, eternalistic, ubiquitous, unitary, undivided approach of time. This is the thing. Now, today, my motto is to present only the Nyaya-Vaishesika approach of time. So, I would like to present my PPT in front of you. Just share PPT. Okay, please confirm me. Can you see this PPT?
Very clear it is.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, as you can see, this is the title, Concept of Time Kalaha in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy. Oh, it's not moving. Why it is not? I think there is a technical problem. Okay. Okay. So, before getting into this Nyaya-Vaishesika concept of time, one must know what is the metaphysical background of Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy. So, as you all know that Naya and Boshishika, these two allied schools of Indian philosophy, where Naya provides us a concrete background of logic and analytics and epistemology, where Boshishika provides a metaphysics or ontological reality. So Naya emphasizes logic, reasoning, and valid knowledge, pramana. That's why Naya sometimes called Sarvashastra Pradipa or Anvikshiki or Hetu Vidya or Tarko Vidya. For this reason, why that it focuses or less stress on this logico-epistemological or logico-analytical approach. Secondly, Vaisheshika philosophy focuses on categories of reality, padartha, and atomistic theory of the universe, Paramanuvada. So this system, it's a sister system. We can say it's a allied metaphysics or Samanatantra Darshana. Okay, so where logic meets metaphysics, where analytical philosophy meets epistemology. So that's why we can write this Naya and Bochishika all together with using a hyphen only. So common ground is that both accept Naya and Bochishika both accept realism, plurality of self, the existence of external world. Naya contribution is that actually Naya focuses more on the epistemological way, the four valid knowledge, pratyaksha, anumiti, upamiti, and sabdyogan. Where Boshishika focuses on the padartha or the categories of existence. And these padarthos are six, or some scholars says it is seven, because the founder of Vaisheshika Sutra, Mahasi Kanath, express is in his Kanada Sutra only six categories: Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya, Vishesha, and Samavaya. And later on, the commentator on Boshishik Sutra is Prasastapada. Prasastapada in his commentary, Prasastapada Bhashyam, and adds one more category, this is called Abhava. But Maharshi Konado himself has not mentioned the category Abhava. It is added by the by Prasastapada in his commentary. Okay, that's why we can say Vaisheshik philosophy is a Sapta Padarthi philosophy. Metaphysics. According to Nyaya-Vaishesika, world composed of eternal atom, time, space, soul, and mind as real entities, dravya. Okay, and the philosophy focuses on the Am I audible?
Yes, sir, audible, audible,
Of course,
audible.
of
Thank you, sir. Okay, so we all know that the ultimate culmination of their philosophy is achieving the moksha, that is moksha prapti. Okay, so whether there is a many ways to achieve the liberation, be it a jnana, karma, bhakti. Okay, so Nyaya sticks their philosophy in the concept of jnana. Is jnana of tattva jnana. That means the right knowledge or proper knowledge of the existing nine substances or seven categories. Okay, so it is a tattva jnana, freeing a soul from the suffering. We all know that Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy is a pessimism. Because according to pessimism, liberation is achieved out of the freeing soul from the miseries or sufferings. Okay, so attantik and oikantik dukkha nibriti. So freeing soul from the suffering. This is the moksha prapti is the actual motto of their philosophy, and this state of moksha is called apavargalav. So, uh, both schools have been merged in one platform and forming a unified and synthetic system of logico-metaphysical system of Indian philosophy. This is the overall background of Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy. Next, Nyaya-Vaishesika substance, because our concern is the presentation about the time. So definitely we'll focus on the substance as a category. Here we are not focusing the other six categories. Nyaya-Vaishesika substance, adravya. Though the term substance is very much narrower, because it is a occidental term, we can say, because we the eastern people use the oriental, so western people use this occidental. So substance is a very much occidental term. That's why it is better to use the term dravya instead of substance. So Nyaya-Vaishesika is a realistic and pluralistic system, because realism, because it says there is a world out of my mind, out of my soul, out of my cognition, out of my consciousness, whatever we may use it. So it is a realism. And pluralistic, why? Because in two ways. In the context of creation of the world, where Nyaya-Vaishesika focuses on the ultimate material world, material cause of the universe is the atom, and these atoms is immense in number. And secondly, Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy holds the multiplicity or the multiple number of Purusha, that is called self. So in two ways we can say it is a pluralism. They uphold the view of pluralism. Now, it accepts nine substances, dravya. That means dravya is nine, navoiva dravya. As Keshav Mishra in his Tarkobhasa states that navoiva dravya. That means dravya is nine, neither less than nine nor more than nine. Dravya is nine. Why it is said? Because I'm just making it clear. Why Dravya is 9, not 10 or 8? Because here, Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophers, particularly Kesava Misra and Prasasta, okay, these two philosophers, particularly, as I can remember. So, Kesava Misra particularly holds that the previous views regarding Dravya, that Charvaka, because Charvaka has only four, Buddha, okay, and another systems of Indian philosophy, they not accepted. They have not accepted the nine substances. Some school accepts the four, some schools one, two, whatever the case. So to reject and refute their views, Keshav Mishra presents his view that there are no Dravya is nine. The first one is material, which is atomic and non-atomic, we can say, or non-eternal, eternal, non-eternal. Because earth, water, fire, and air. Why? Because there are two forms of this each one of the substance: earth, water, fire, and air. Earth has two forms. One is Anu, that means Abhayav, Nirabhayav, Sabhayav, Nitya, Anitya. The atomic form of this earth is Nitya, and non-atomic form of the earth is Anitya. That's why atomic or non-atomic or eternal and non-eternal form, the material. Earth, water, fire, and air. These four are the material, Chaturbhuta. Clear? Secondly, non-psychic. Non-psychic, it is eternal, all-pervading. Ether, space, and time. These three. Non-psychic. That means non-psychic means bhuta. It's not a murta. Psychic. Soul, which is omniscient, omnipresent, many, and the mind, atomic in size and many in number. So this is the overall background and view of substances. So the definition of substance, or dravya, is that which possesses qualities and actions. That means dravya is that which possesses quality and substance. Guna karma samaveta dravya. Actually, and it is the inherent cause, samavaya karana, of composite also. Composite means
any created things, composite সাবয়ব দ্রব্য. So characteristics of non-psychic substances, eternal substances, is that they are eternal, independent, infinite, and imperceptible only in the context of Nyaya. Clear? This is the characteristic feature of these substances. Now, it is clear that time has been enlisted in the category of, in the group of substance. So, Nyaya-Vaishesika philosopher upholds that time is a substance. It's no doubt. But the questions that must be raised, that whether time can be a substance at all or not. We all know that Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy upholds the substantial reality of time or kala. But the question is that whether time can be regarded as a substance at all. This is the question. Why? Because before treating time as a substance, we need to know time as a substance. So, Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, as actually we know that there is a debate between Nyaya-Vaishesika and Buddhist regarding the existence of substance. Nyaya-Vaishesika and Buddhism, this theory, this both philosophical school accept substance, no doubt. But regarding substance, there are two views. One is substratum view, substratum theory. Another one is bundle theorist. As we in this case of Western metaphysics. But I am tracing this view in the context of India. So, Nyaya-Vaishesika philosopher accepts that their gunas and karmas are there, and these gunas and karmas are resided in a particular drabba. Okay, so over and above the gunas or qualities, there must be something where these gunas inheres, where these gunas homes. So there is a realistic approach about substance, that substance is there over and above the qualities. Whether qualities is there or not, substance must be there. So there is a quality independent existence of drabba is there. This is the one thing. This is called substratum realism. Another one theory is that bundle theorist. Bundle theorist says that there are only the attributes or qualities. No other substance is needed to accept. So there is no such a substance. Whatever is there, like substance, is nothing but the bundle of qualities. For example, orange. There are multiple parts, shape, size, color, taste. Now the question is, where is the orange as a substance? No answer will be there. Where is the orange? Because you are showing me this shape, size, color, taste. So this is the bundle theorist. Buddhist philosophy holds this theory. Now Buddhist philosophy critiques the Nyaya-Vaishesika substance realism, that you people is perceiving and you people accepting the existence of substance. It's not tantamount at all to our rationality. Clear? So it is completely ill-founded. Your base is ill-founded. Clear? So to to refute this objection of the Buddhist, Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophers uh, given their best to refute their view of the opposites, particularly Maharshi Kanath, Sridharacharya, and Uddot Karo. And these three particular philosophers, as far I can remember, these three philosophers said that there is a various definitions of substance. Though there is a problem that whether the nine among the nine substances, the first five substances Kiti of Tej Morud bomb, earth, water, air, fire, ether. These fives are palpable substance, we can say. Clear. But rather the rest four, space, time, ether, and the soul, space, time, mind, and soul. Sorry, these four the impalpable substance. Even time is most impalpable substance because it is completely a discrete, abstract, no concrete at all. So if it is not concrete, how do we perceive this? Because we all know that the definition of substance is that where the qualities and gunas resides. That actually substance is the home of the qualities and gunas. But is there any quality, or are there any qualities or actions in time? If no, then time cannot be regarded as substance. There is a problem, because if time is substance, then time must inhere the quality and the action. But we all know that in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, time is all pervasive, vibhu drabbo, it lacks action, it is niskriya. How is it possible? There's a contradictory view that the Buddhist people will show the finger towards the Nyaya-Vaishesika. Clear? So, Sridharacharya in his Nyaya-Kandali Tika on Vaisheshik Sutra, Nyaya-Kandali Tika, he says that no, it is definitely it is one of the definition of substance, no doubt. But there's another definition of substance is there. It is called the substance hood, Drobbatta Jati, that resides all the substance. So there is a one of the plausible ground to define time as a substance. There are rest five arguments are there, so I am not getting into this in detail. So so it is clear that time is a substance that the Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy has proved. So the notions of, and it is clear that time is there as a substance. Now the question is, if something is there, particularly according to Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, because it holds the realism. So if it is there, then we must place some proofs to its existence. So Nyaya-Vaishesika replies that the notions of temporal priority and posteriority. Priority means paratta. Posteriority means aparatta. Are based, it is a technical term in Sanskrit, are based on the revolutions of the sun. Surya Parispandana Kriya. It is a technical term, it is written in the bracket. So the revolution of the sun, Surya Parispandana Kriya. Now, an object is called temporally prior, para, if it has a larger number of contacts with the revolution of the sun in its life, while that which has a smaller number of such contacts is called temporally posterior or opero. For example, me and my brother, for example, me and my mother has an age gap between 5 years, or me and my sister, there's an age gap between 5 years. So what does it mean? How do we determine the age gap? What is the rational ground to define this age gap? Because when you try to define this age gap, there must be a temporal reference. How do you determine this? This is the question. Now, Nyaya-Vaishesika raised the answer of these questions. That an object is called temporally prior, paro. That means I am paro. And that means I have much more connection or conjunction. It is better to use conjunction. I have more conjunction with the revolution of the sun, Surya Parispandan Kriya, than my sister. That means I have much more. For example, there are total 100 conjunctions. Okay, so I have said that I have a 80 connection or conjunction with the solar revolution. Then my sister, where sister has only 20 conjunction with the revolution of the sun. So there is a, in what way or how do I connect myself with the revolution of the sun? This is the way of difference between elder, younger, or all the temporal variations. Okay, so it is the I am calling myself that I am a poro, than my sister, or my sister will call her that she is oporo than me. Clear? So this is the temporal variation. Now the question is, how can an object come in contact with the solar revolution? It's a big research question. How can an object come in contact with the solar revolution? Okay, I am proceeding to the next slide to answer this question. As the two are at the two means me as an individual subject, or a water bottle may be an individual object. So me, the one hand, and other means the revolution of the sun. Clear? So that two, me and the sun, revolution of the sun, at a very large distance, because there's a large and huge distance, huge amount of distance share between me and the revolution of the sun. So the very large distance from each other, no direct contact or sangyoga is possible. Other kinds of relations too, such as sanjukta samabhaya, sanjukta samabeta samabhaya, samabhaya, are shown to be impossible. Because now in this context, I should be more a little bit elaborative. Now, in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, in the context of pratyaksha, or more specifically in the context of ordinary perception, lokika pratyaksha, there are 6 types of perceptions are there. First one is Sangyoga, second one is Sangyukta Samabhaya, third one is Sangyukta Samaveta Samabhaya, fourth one is Samabhaya, fifth one is Samaveta Samabhaya, and the last one is Bisheshan Bishesha Bhava Sannikarsha or Bishesharata. Now, Sangyoga Sannikarsha is that where it is placed between two substances. Clear? So, Sanjog is possible or is taken place only between two substances or dravya. Sanjukta samabhaya, it is a relation between a substance. That means how do we perceive the color of a substance? How do we perceive the guna of a substance? Clear? So through Sanjukta samabhaya sannikarsha, we can perceive or we can have a knowledge of the quality of a substance. The third one is Sanjukta samaveto Nikorso. Sanjukta Samveto means the color. For example, the red color of a rose. Clear? So the red color, there's a relation between red color, the redness. How do we perceive the redness of the red? Okay, Nyaya-Vaishesika further explains that Sanjukta Samaveto Samabhaya. That means the redness is Samaveto in its own quality red. Clear? So Sanjukta Samveto Samabhaya, through which we can have the knowledge of the redness. That means the gunatva. Clear? Redness. Now then, next one is Samabhaya, where Samabhaya is a relationship between, actually it is taken place between 5 types of pairs. I am not getting in details in this case. 5 types of pair, the Samabhaya. Actually in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, there is a twist. Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, Samabhaya has 2 roles. As a padartha, philosophy, it is a very in the so Samaya the sub ear, and in my ear there's a pre-empty space. So there is a, how do we perceive the sound? Through only the Samabhaya, because we perceive the sound through our ear, and in the ear there's a only empty space which is called akasha. Clear? And Sabdo is a product or effect of the akasha which resides in the akasha itself. So it is the ear where the akasha is, Sabdo is there. That's why the definition of the Sabda is Sabda Akasha is that Sabda Gunakam Akasha Miti. Clear? So, and the next one is Samaveta Samavai. So, Sabdatta, how do we perceive this Sabdatta soundness? Through the Samaveta Samavai. And the last one is that. Last one is so much interesting and very much philosophical and scientific also. Why I am saying this? because in Indian philosophy there is a another category of Samabhayo and uh, Abhavo. Clear? So Abhavo, there's a debate whether Abhavo is to be perceived or inferred, or Abhav is not there at all. So there's a very much debate, a very big debate between Vedantis and Mimamsaks, and particularly Kumari Bhatta, not Prabhakar and Mandana Misra, and the Nyaya-Vaishesika, even Buddhists also. Okay, these four schools have been engaged in a debate regarding Abhav. Uh, so, according to Nyaya-Vaishesika, Samabhayo, and that means Samabhayo Sambandha, and an Abhavo is to be perceived. How do we perceive? Through the relationship of relation of Visheshanata or Vishesha Visheshan Bhava Sannikarsa. This is all about the things. Now, among these six Sannikarsa or perception actually tool, we can say. So, the pillar of these six or rest five pratyaksha is that sanjog. Of distance from each other, that means me as individual subject, the solar revolution, no direct contact or sanjogo is not possible. So if sanjog is not possible, then rest five relations will not be possible. Clear? So it is clear that for tackling the concept of time, possibility left is an indirect relation through a connecting link. That means our concern is here that how connecting link. Clear? So means that only a substance is capable of doing it is clear that it is no other five or six. It must be a substance. The Nyaya-Vaishesika maintains making this connecting link as only among the substance dravyasya dravayara eva sanyoga that I have cited. That way dravya is possible to make a connection. Okay. Further, substances of earth, water, fire, air can be the connection. It's clear that the four substances, earth, water, make a connection between an individual and the solar revolution. Limited in their dimension. In their dimension. Indian philosophy, Purimano. They are not connected with the because due to have their limited dimension, limited magnitude, we can say magnitude. If it is the fire, teja, inherent in the sun. Okay, so it's a question that the fire resides in the sun. Fire inherent in the sun acts. Philosophers holds it's not tenable. Why? Because this will not be able to stabilize objects which are lying under the earth in the dark. Clear? Which is lying under the earth in the dark. Not be reached. That is unable to make this connection between the individual subject or object with the solar. Now, ether and the soul also cannot be the. So only an all-powerful After that those substance which has the limited magnitude make a connection. I should mention that in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, there are 5 types of parimana or dimension or magnitude. Clear? Anuparimano, parimano, paramahat parimano, for last one is dirgha parimano. Clear? Actually, these 5, but all the Nyayikas accept this view. Actually, I'm using this only Tarka Bhasha. Clear? So, has mentioned these 5 types of parimana. Clear? So, Anuparimano, due to have a subtlest magnitude, it cannot be perceived. And Vibhu Parimana, that means pay unlimited or infinite magnitude. That's why it cannot be perceived. Onuporiman, both only the Mahat Purimana clear can be perceived because it has the Udbhuta Rupa. Sparsatva, these two qualities must be perceived. Clear? So only Madhyam Purimana can be as a subject matter of perception. Okay, so earth, air, fire, this 4, it be a connecting link between a subject or object and the. So only know that there are 4 all-pervasive substances: soul, space, time, soul, space, time, and soul, and ether also purpose. And this in dimension, Sarva Virajaman, and individual in character, so that it may be connected to substances. Though ether and they are not capable of being connecting link. An object or subject and solar motion, they are not capable of being the connecting link because to both the object and also relate them with each other. Neither ether nor soul possess this capacity. If ether has this capacity, suppose possible for a particular 1 gram, also automatically, if it is a all pervasive nature and stroke producing these things, and to produce sound in them also, because ether is a ubiquitous substance. But this is not the plausible case. Next, thus ether cannot connect the evolutions of sun with the object. It's clear. Now, secondly, the soul. If the soul had this capacity to make a connection between them, it would create and transmit the attributes of one object to another arbitrarily. For example, the fragrance of a flower would be perceived in the table also, and the color of one particular object found at any particular place might be transmitted to another place also. Or the fragrance of sandalwood, the fragrance of sandalwood, surabhi chandanam, the fragrance of sandalwood will be perceived in a table, will be perceived in a chair, but it's not the real case. Our experience will not support this view. That's why soul also cannot act as a connecting link. So soul, ether, all these substance are failure to make this connection. Now, objection. Now, one may raise an objection that if time is granted to possess the capacity of connecting the two substances, it is not free from qualities of producing different attributes in other substances, as I have said in the case of soul and ether. So, in the most confusing way, like ether and the soul, for time also is ubiquitous. Connecting link. Keeping this difficulty in mind, the Boshishika asserts that the existence of time as an indirect connecting link is proved by the reductio ad absurdum arguments against the two other possible substances, ether and soul. Actually, here they have used a Porises Onumana. As you all know, Porises Onumana to use this view, to use to establish this uh, theory. Further, in the present context, the required capacity of time is posited by the same arguments which prove the existence of time itself as a substance. So, there is no chance of mutual change of properties among the substances if time is stabilized as the medium of connecting the individual object and the solar revolutions. Clear? So, time is there and time is only the capable substance makes a connection between these two things. Now, in a similar way, the notions of simultaneity and null simultaneity soon soon or soon or late two should be understood. Okay, when two or more kriya are related to a particular solar revolution, they are called simultaneous, yugopadda or yogopadda, simultaneous. That means they have a simultaneity relationship. When they are related to different solar revolutions, they are termed as non-simultaneous or yogopadda. Soon or late, these two temporal determination signify a smaller and a larger number of solar movements, respectively, with which an action is connected. Okay, so uh, till now, it is proved that time does exist in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy as a separate substance, and that's why they have placed some proofs against their existence of time. Now, if time is there, then we must prove that there must be a characteristics or some characteristic features of time. The first one is time is one in number, that means time is unitary and undivided. Second one is time or kalaha is inactive as it is different from those which possess activity. Third one, time is all pervasive, sarvagato, possesses extremely large dimension, param mahattva or vibhutva, and is the substratum of all composite things, sarvasangyogi drabya or savayav drabya, all composite things. According to Sridhara, sorry, it's I, it will be I, SRF not, it's SRIDHRA. Sridhara, all or sarva in all pervasive sarvagato denotes all composite material substance. All pervasive means time has connection with all composite material substances. This does not mean that it moves everywhere. Clear? It does not mean that it moves everywhere. But as it is said to be inactive, Paramahattattva shows that time possesses an unbounded, unlimited dimension. Sarva Sangyogi Sangyogatva. That means time together with Akash and Dik, because both of them also all pervasive, is the common receptacle or substratum or all composite material substances. So it is in real sense not the substratum of all such substances, rather it is the substratum of all sorts of conjunction also. Next. Fourth one is that time possesses the five qualities: number, dimension, separateness, conjunction, and disjunction. Sankhya, Pariman, Prithakatva, Sangyogo, and Vibhago. We all know that in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, there are some total 24 qualities. 24 qualities. Among them, actually, Maharishi Konath has mentioned his Konath Sutra 17. Later on, Prasastapad added the 7. So total 24 qualities are there in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy. But among these 24 qualities, the first 5 qualities are generic quality or samanya gun. That means these 5 qualities is shared by all substances, irrespective of it is material, psychic, non-psychic. All substances share these 5 qualities. That's why it is called generic qualities or samanya guna. And this sankhya, parimana, prithakatva, sanjoga, and vibhaga. Clear? So time is a substance. Time also shares these 5 qualities. The fifth one is time is the instrumental cause. Nimitta karana. Sorry, there is a question mark is added there. It's a nimitta karana. A would be there in that place of question mark. Of all products. It is also said to be the cause of origination, duration, and destruction. That means utpatti, sthiti, and vinas or laya. All these three are taken place only due to the supremacy of time, because the latter are understood only in relation to time, such as in the expression, this is the time of its origination, this is the time of destruction. Okay, so this is the expression that we have that we use in our ordinary usage, ordinary life. Next. The sixth characteristics of time is substance and eternal. Time is a substance and eternal. Actually, Nyaya-Vaishesika philosopher re-examine this point, because time is substance, not any quality, not any action, not any moment, not any product or any absolute. Is a it is a complete independent substance and it is eternal also. The seventh one is time is the ground of all our empirical usages, like the past, present, and future. The eighth one is time is the cause of our use of various temporal expressions such as shana, labha, nimesha, kastha, kala, muhurta, yama, day and night, fortnight, month, year, season, ritu, solstice, ayana, yuga, kalpa, manantara, pralaya, and mahapralaya. These are the use temporal units, we can say, we use in the ancient time until now. Because why I have mentioned this? Because the first and foremost, the concept of time was mentioned in Atharva Veda. Though some scholar uh, disagrees with this view that no, not Atharva Veda, only Rig Veda is there. In the Rig Veda, the concept of time is firstly mentioned. But actually, As I have examined all the sources and the research theses on the research sources or books, it is proved that even Max Muller also said, and Balgangadhar Tilak, Radhakrishnan, and also K.C. Bhattacharya, all the other prominent philosophers also agreed on this view that uh, sorry, K.C. Bhattacharya, Gopinath Bhattacharya. Okay, so all these philosophers said that the Atharvaveda is the first text, the canonical text of Hindu, where the concept of time has been mentioned. And in the Atharvaveda, the concept of Manvantara, Pralaya, Mahapralaya, Yuga, Labha, this kind of temporal notions are to be mentioned there. Okay. Now, here I would like to present one more thing. I want to say something Pralaya and Mahapralaya because it is very much important in the context of time or Kala. Actually, why Pralaya and Mahapralaya, both term I have used. Actually, Nyaya-Vaishesika used. Because Nyaya-Vaishesika, in Nyaya-Vaishesika, Dhangsa or Vinasa is two sense. Ek ultimate, that means actually is a, there is two layer, actually, two layer of destruction. Because it is completely related to their causal theory. We all know that in Indian philosophy, there are two-headed main theories of causality. One is Asat Karjabad and another is Sat Karjabad. In Sat Karjabad theory, particularly advocated by Sankhya Yoga and Vedanta and the Yogacara and Madhyamik school, these six schools or these six schools have accepted the Sat Karjabad theory. According to them, the effect pre-exists in its cause before its creation. So, according to them, the concept of origination and destruction is not a real sense, but it is an apparent sense. Because according to them, according to the Satkarjavada principle of causality, the effect, the origination of effect means it's the manifestation from cause to effect. And Dhangsa or Vinas means returning back to its own material cause again. So there's no such a ultimate sense of creation or ultimate sense of destruction. So it can be said proloy. It can be said proloy, but Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy advocates Mahapraloy, the theory of Mahapraloy also, because according to them, the effect is not pre-existent in its cause before its creation. The effect is a completely new beginning or a new entity, new phenomenon. That's why their causal theory is called Arambhavada. Even according to them, the destruction means the ultimate destruction of this thing, because there is a difference between praloy and mahapraloy. Because in praloy the gross elements, gross objects will be destructed, extinct. But the tanmatradi, that means the subtler and the subtlest objects or substances, are not to be destructed in the case of praloy. But that's why there's a need of further praloy, mahapraloy. This is the ultimate praloy or culmination of all creations. That's why to explain the extinction of all subtlest substances, that's why the mahapraloy, the concept of mahapraloy is to be accepted in Nyaya philosophy, Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy. Even it is accepted in the Mimamsa philosophy also. Next one is time is the cause of our notions like Padraya of temporal priority, oldness, temporal posteriority, and youngness, simultaneity, non-simultaneity, soonness, that means kipratta, and lateness, chiratta. These things we use in our daily life, and this is only possible due to the uh, uh, supremacy of time or due to the existence of time. Next. Now, so till now, we have crossed the steps that firstly, we have proved that time, whether time is to be a substance or not, it is clear that it is substance. If time substance, how do we know? Or is there a, characteristics features? Now after that, if something is there, that means something is out there. We can say quote and unquote out there because it is a realism out there. It's not a mental construct. like the Sankhya Yoga Vedanta, or in the case of Kant also, we can say, okay, it's not a mental construct, or it's not something that orders our experience. Definitely, when the experience is not there, still the time would be there. Clear? So, how do you know time? If we claim that time is there or time is existent, then we have to prove that. How do you know? What are the means, possible means to know the time? Now, cognition of time. There are two main groups of thinkers. The first group, including Kanada, Prasustapada, Uddatkara, Sridhara. This four mainly argues that time cannot be directly perceived. That means apratyaksha yoga. Clear? Second group, represented mainly by Jayanta Bhatta, which is the author of Nyamanjari, holds that time is perceptible. Clear? So there's a two diverse theories regarding time. How do you know time? First group is that time cannot be perceived. That means time is to be inferred. Second point view is that time is to be perceived. So there are two views. First group says that time is a subject matter, or definitely time is a object of knowledge, geyo or promeyo. It is clear. Now, time is the object of knowledge, definitely, but it is the object of the, some group says, it is the first group says, it is the object of the onumeya or onuman, and second group says it is the object of pratyaksha. Clear? So, according to Gautama, as the definition of pratyaksha, they defined as arises from the contact of the sense organ, indriyartha sunnikarsa, the contact of the sense organ with the objects, indriyartha sunnikarsa. Indriya means sense organ and artha means the respective objects, particular objects. And it is characterized as being immediate, avapadesha, determinate, babosayaktakam, and free from error, or babhichari. That means it must be free from the erroneous or illusory knowledge. Clear? So it is the definition of pratyaksha upheld by Maharishi Gautama. Next. So, since time is formless, that means time is formless, means time is abstract, time is discrete, time is not concrete at all, and it's all pervading. Kanado and his followers argue that it cannot be directly perceived by the senses. The thing which is abstract, discrete, we all know that there are two types of things in this world, that concrete and discrete. Concrete things is called which is accessible through our five sense organs, that is called murta. And the abstract or discrete things which is bimurta or amurta, which cannot be accessed or accessible through our five sense organs. So time cannot be accessible through our five sense organs. That's why time is to be inferred. So time cannot be directly perceived by the senses. So something eternal and omnipresent cannot fall within the range of sense organ. It is beyond the range of sense organ. The only exception is that time can be fully perceived through yogic intuition. This is the point of importance. That here I also put one more point. That actually in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, as you have discussed in the introductory portion of this our talk, that there are 6 times of Lokik Pratyaksha, right? So it is Lokik Pratyaksha, but there are 3 types of another Alokik Pratyaksha there, which is called Samanya Lakshana, Jnana Lakshana, and Yogoja Pratyaksha. Samanya Lakshana Pratyaksha, where we can perceive the all instances of a thing. For example, when we perceive the smokeness, dhumotta, clear, smokeness. That means we are perceiving the all possible instances of all smokes in this world. It's Samanya Lakshana Pratyaksha. That is Samanya Gun. We are perceiving the Samanya Gun, Samanya Lakshana of these things. Okay, next one is Jnana Lakshana Pratyaksha. Actually, Jnana Lakshana Pratyaksha is mediatory. Through Bhaya it's possible. Why? Because, for example, Jnana Lakshana Pratyaksha. In the case of eyes, when I perceive an eyes, perceive means when I taste the eyes, because taste is one kind of perception. Clear? So when I perceive, I am using this word perceive, okay, instead of tasting. So I am perceiving when I perceive the eyes, that means testing the or taking the experience of the eyes. That what I feel, that ice is cold. Clear, ice is cold, and it is white, completely white. Clear. Now, it is the first one. Secondly, the second time when I perceive, that means when I perceive through visual organ, that without any touch, then without having any touch, we can easily tell that, say that ice is cold. Why? Because in the next stage of knowledge, there is no need to touch the eyes to have the knowledge of these things, because I have the previous knowledge of the object. So this previous knowledge helps us. That's why it's Jnana Pratyaksha is through via our mediatory. This is the Pratyaksha through a previous knowledge. Jnana Pratyaksha. So it is not a direct perception. Clear? Third one is Yogoja Pratyaksha, yogic perception. Yogoja Pratyaksha is that where yogi, actually there's a exception, because we all know that in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, atom being a atomic size or anupariman, it cannot be perceived at all. But they say there's the exception. Yogi, the yogi purush can only, the yogi purush perceive the atom through their yogic intuition. Clear? Now, there's also a debate, because there are two types of yogi. Yukta yogi, another one is Yugana yogi. As some Nyaya scriptures and text mention this view, though yoga philosophy will not accept this view. Clear? So only Nyaya-Vaishesika accept this view. So Yukta yogi and Yugana yogi means who is under process of his tapasya. Clear? They are not capable of doing this. But only the Yukta yogi who is already Siddhi Prapta is already achieved this. Clear? So he or she and only the recipient of the knowledge of recipient of the perceptual knowledge of atoms or time. So that's why in that perspective, time can be perceived. Clear? So actually, I am citing here a D.M. Datta's, Dhirendra Mohan Datta's claim, because Dhirendra Mohan Datta claims that the Noyayikas would grant neither the sensation of time nor any intuition of it. Actually, here D.M. Datta may be criticized through this view. Clear? That's why I am reciting D.M. Datta in my presentation. Clear? Actually, there's a problem in D.M. Datta's jo presentation regarding substance and time. Clear? So I think there is a problem in D.M. Datta's quotation. So that's why I am added this, because he says the Noyayikas would grant neither the sensation of time nor any intuition of it. No, at all. It is actually not there, because Jayanta Bhatta clearly mentioned this. Next. Jayanta Bhatta is a famous Nyaya philosopher, is one of my favorite also. In line with Bhatta Mimamsa, explains that time is known through its connection with events, kriya or karya. Whenever we think of an event, time appears as one of its qualities, Visheshana, Kalo Visheshana, clear? Qualities, Kalo Visheshana. Ideas such as succession, simultaneity, sooner, later are not limited to the events themselves, but also point toward time. Even though time has no physical attributes like color, this does not affect its reality or our ability to perceive it. Here I want to say something. Actually, Jayanto in line with the Bhatta Mimamsa, because there's a problem, because not all the Mimamsa, only Kumaril Bhatta place that time can be perceived. But the Prabhakara Misra and the Mandana Misra, all other two recipients of Mimamsa, do not accept their view. Clear? So only Bhatta Mimamsa and the side of Naya, Jayanta Bhatta, explains that time can be perceived through the connection of the events. But now, if we say or if you claim that time is to be perceived, then we must say time must be possess a color, rupatta, because there's a condition. There is a condition. It's a agreeable condition in all systems of philosophy. Agreeable condition that it must be a color, it must possess a color to be a perception. Clear? So time must be must possess a color because it is a perceptual object. But that means color means extreme dimension of color, udbhuta rupatva. But Jayanta claims that though there's actually time has no physical attribute like color, even though time does not possess any color, still it does not have with the ability to perceive it, or it does not affect its reality as an independent status in Nyaya-Vaishesika. Clear? So Jayanta's argument, actually there is a debate, big debate between Mimamsa and Nyaya-Vaishesika, because why this context is emerged, because actually Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy do not accept the andhakara or tamas, darkness, as a separate substance, but Mimamsa actually Kumarila Bhatta accepts the separate existence of andhakara or darkness, tamo, as a drabya. That's why they place the argument of udbhuta rupatva and udbhuta sparshatva in the context of color. That's why some other Mimamsaks attack this Nyaya-Vaishesika position. That's why I am very shortly present this view. Uh, uh, Jayanta's argument on this score is simply that since we perceive things in space, we perceive space in addition to things. And likewise, since we perceive things, at times we perceive time in addition to the things like T1 or T. Clear? Here, actually, when we perceive a thing, we are not only perceiving the thing, but we are perceiving the time also which is engaged with these things, embedded with these things. Actually, it is agreeable opinion with Jayanta Bhatta and Kumarila Bhatta, both, because both are Bhatta. But Jayanta Bhatta is a side of a recipient of Naya, and Kumarila Bhatta recipient of Mimamsa. But in the context of Dharavahi Pratyaksha Gyan, persistent knowledge, the persistent knowledge, they claim that we are not only perceiving the object itself, but we are perceiving the part of the kala, time, which is attached to this object, because it is called kalangsha pratyaksha. Clear? That's why they claim that space, we perceive space in addition to things, not the space alone. And likewise, since we perceive things, at times we perceive time in addition to the things. Clear? So this is the case. Next. Now it's time to define the division of Kala. Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy advocates two types or two kinds of Kala. Clear? One is Mahakala and Khandakala. Infinite time, Mahakala is infinite time, absolute time, and Khandakala is limited time, finite time, empirical time. Nyaya-Vaishesika system recognizes two kinds of time, infinite and eternal. Infinite and eternal time, Mahakal, and finite time or empirical time is Khandakala or Kalopadhi. I am returning to this problem, Kalopadhi. Infinite time is regarded as an undivided whole, serving as the background or locus of the entire universe. That means it is a actually Mahakala or infinite time is invisible, but due to invisible, it it may serve as a background of the all visible things, we can claim, right? So it is not as a flowing stream, but rather as a static continuum or adharo continuum or substratum or matrix receptacle adharo sarvadharo, as Tarko Sangra says, sarvadharo. Kalo is sarvadharo, within which everything exists. All events and objects are connected to this eternal time, though through temporal relation, Kalika Sambandha. Now, it is time to talk on this Sambandha. Right, in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, as I've said earlier, that Samabaya has two roles as is substance and Sambandha. So actually, in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, there are 5 types of relation, as I know. Uh, One is Sangjogo, Vibhago, Samobhai, Sarupo, and Kaliko. These 5 types. Clear? So Kaliko is another substance. Through this, Kaliko is another relation. Through this Kaliko Sambandho or temporal relationship or Kaliko Sambandho, the infinite time or Mahakalo can be connected with all the visible and concrete things of this universe. Clear? So it is a Kalik Sambandho. For example, we may say that rain falls in this month, which illustrates such a relation. Temporal relation itself is understood as two ways: direct, sakshat, and indirect, parampara, or paramparjo, or purva purva, we can say. Next. Finite time or Khandakala, as we usually understand it, is measured through the duration of objects. The performance of action, kriya, and the movement of the sun, physical contacts, separations, or even by our clocks and watches. So this kind of time is considered not as ultimate reality or infinite time or Mahakalo, but as an imposed property or division of the greater absolute time, Kalopadhi. That means Upadhi, the external condition. That means when I divide these things for our daily usages, empirical usages, we're just dividing the infinite time. But actually time is not divided. Okay, it is Khandakalo because why it is division? This division is only possible through the help of karyo, action. And this action is maybe the revolution or of sun, that means solar motion, the motion of the moon, the motion of the sun, the motion of the other stars, and which is reside in the galaxy. So it is the upadhi, as Nyaya-Vaishesika says. It's very much astronomical and scientific approach. Though I have not mentioned in detail here, but it is there. So it serves only a conventional and practical purpose in daily life. That means empirical usage. Just as a person is called a father, son, or brother, depending on the different relationship with other, in the same way, time, which in itself is one and indivisible, appears to be divided into past, present, and future, depending on its relation to different actions. Clear? Different action means, as I have mentioned, these actions. As Bimal Krishna Motilal observes, here I have recited another philosopher, Bimal Krishna Motilal, any kalopadhi may be understood as a time segment or time part within the four-dimensional material world. Four-dimensional material world means space, time, matter, energy, 4 dimension. Extending fully in space and standing perpendicular in the time axis. Clear? So it's the observation of Bimal Krishna Motilal particularly. Next. Now, if time is there, there's a divisions of time. Now, in the context of Khandakala or finite time or empirical time, the time temporal determination or temporal divisions are there, past, present, and future. Annam Bhatto, around 600 AD, explains that time serves as the basis for our expressions of the past, present, and future. Otito, Vartaman, and Bhavishyat. When we describe an event as belonging to one of these three states of time, our way of speaking is rooted in the notion of time. It's no doubt. These expressions, Vyavahara, and are primarily conventional and linguistic, are suggested by Bhakya in the Bhakya, and the time itself is regarded as their instrumental cause or nimitta karana. Okay, so there are three temporal determination: past, present, and future. Now, later, scholar Nilkanta Sastri offered clearer definitions. He states that the past is simply that which has ceased to exist in the present. right? Is the definition of past. Is the definition of past. Now, in other words, it refers to the passage of time underlying our everyday usage. And the future is that which does not yet exist, that means which is yet to come, but will come into being. So, in every case, whether past, present, or future, time is the common factor and should be understood as the cause. Therefore, it is incorrect to assume that these distinctions of past, present, and future, which are actually imposed attributes or assigned attributes of time, are determined by the revolutions of the sun. Here, I want to say something in this context. The temporal division, like past, present, and future, there's an intimate relationship between this temporal division and with the concept of abhava in Vaisheshika philosophy. In Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy, there are two types of abhava. One is sangsarga bhava, another one is ananya bhava. Sangsarga bhava is of three types: pragabhava, dhangsa bhava or pradhangsa bhava, and uttanta bhava. Clear? Pragabhava, that means, for example, like a water bottle. When the water bottle is not now in this world, this we can say the what there is a pragabhava, prag abhav, that means abhav before its existence or coming into emergence. Clear? So it is the pragabhava, prag bhava, that means abhava in previous, the pre abhava. Now, when the water bottle come into existence, then that means the water bottle does persist in this world continuously. It is a now when the water bottle will cease to exist, then there's a abhava of the water bottle in this world because the water bottle is not no more in this world. Clear? So it's a pradhangsa bhava. And ottanta bhava means ottanto. That means there is a extremely non-existence. For example, the abhava of rupa in the air. So the absence of color in the air is a ottanta bhava. Now, past, present, and future, these three temporal divisions are very much connected to these three divisions of abhava. Past is pragabhava, related to pragabhava. When the present time is does exist, does continuous is pradhangsa bhava, and the uttanta is also there. So there's a various and divergence of views regarding these things. Actually, Janardhan Gandhi has emphasized more on this issue. And so there is the thing is that there is a relationship between the abhava and this temporal division. So how time is related to abhava, it's also an important thing in Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy. Abhava is not to be there as a category, but still there's a very much intimate connection or relationship between time and abhava. Clear? So next. Jayanto, that is Jayanto Bhatto, proposes a different approach to the problem of three-time epoch. Time, as we have seen, is an undivided whole. Any attempt to divide it is not real, and all the divisions of time must be considered as imposed properties or upadhi, kalopadhi. Now the question arises, what is that which gives rise? What is that which gives rise to these upadhis? Jayantas replies that it is an action or kriya or karya which gives the notions of the past, present, and future. Next.
Pintu, how much time you will take now?
10 minutes more, sir. Please, sir.
Okay.
An action is a series of different moments of origination, duration, and destruction in order to bring about a complete result. So, for example, the act of cooking rice from putting the pot on the oven when the action begins, or to taking it down when the action ends. So is called one complete action with represent the present time, such as he cooks. Now, an action which has not yet commenced, which is he will cook. These are linguistic expressions in which denotes the all three times. Next. Now, I'm not taking so much time in this regard. Padmanabha Misra argues that the past, present, and future are not merely attributes added to time, but are inherent aspects. According to him, each point in time can be called past, present, and or future depending on its relation. That means completely relational, this view. So if it has only the preceding moments, so such a view assumes that in the case of temporal divisions, the continuous flow of time from future through present into the past. It is a continuous flow. So, however, the Nyaya-Vaishesika system regards time as a static and inactive in the case only in the case of Mahakala. Okay, so therefore, it is difficult to accept the Padmanabha Misra's position within this framework. Next, views on present time, because it is a great problem in the context of metaphysics or ontology, that what is the view of present time, because various texts like Nyaya Sutra and Vatsayana Bhashya on this Nyaya Sutra, actually they have recorded this issue. Vatsayana records the view of opponent who denies the existence of present time while accepting the reality of past and future. Actually, I am summing up this view. To support this position, opponent views example that actually the opponent view, for example, like a tree. Actually, this opponent is nobody else, only the Srihorso, one of the great Vedantist, Advaita Vedantist. His magnum opus is Khandana Khanda Khadya. So Srihorso is a great opposite side, stands opposite side to critique the present time of the Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy. Okay, so Srihorso presents an example that whenever we perceive that an apple is when it breaks from its stalk of the tree and going downwards to the earth. So there's a two event. One is where the when the apple is breaking down or makes a disjunction, it's a better to use, makes a disjunction vibhago from its stalk and going downwards to the earth. Yeah. So what is seen that only the past and where downward to the earth, and that means an apple will going downward. Clear? So there's two things: past and future. Where is the present? No such a present time is there. It is the actually view of Srihorsa. So for the Noahikas, this difficulty lies in the fact that their opponent's idea is explained through the example of space, which they consider illogical and misleading. So to clarify this matter, Vatsayan argues that the three-time division, past, present, and future, can only be properly understood through the context of a action. So, for instance, take the action of falling. Clear? Falling. Once the action is completed, the time connected with it, it's called past. If the action has not yet occurred, the time linked to is called future. And when the action is actually taking place before our eyes, that the time is called present time. Okay, this is the views of their theory. Furthermore, the present time is not indicated merely by an action such as the act of falling or but also by the very existence of things. For instance, drobbo exists, quality exists, karma exists. Their very existence necessarily mark them as present. These are the uh, these are the predicate: existence, substance exists, quality existence is a predicate. Now here the present time, that quality exists, God exists, for example, Here, the present time is not the present in the context of finite sense of present or apparent sense of present, but here is the eternal present, we can say. Eternal present. God exists. It's eternally present, God. So actually, this issue, later on, this issue has been developed by the Patanjali, Panini, and Katayana, the grammarian. Okay, this issue, the eternal present. So this also points toward the idea of absolute time. In other words, while specific actions like falling apple gives us a limited sense of present, the continued existence of an object, its qualities and its movements that extends universally across the whole present. So this universal presence reflects real all-pervading time. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thanks so
Yes,
much, Pintu.
I,
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
sir.
Yes. Yes.
If there is
So,
question,
so
please.
you directly invite Ranjit sir, okay?
Yes. 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 Okay. You please do it. You please do it. You please do it.
Okay, thank you. So we shall start the interactive session. So I am inviting Professor Ghosh to have his observation or query.
Thank you, Dr. Das.
Sir,
What can I
I
say?
am not doctorate. I am still in Mumbai.
No, I'm talking. I'm talking about Dr. P.K. Das. Okay, so you are still working on what is your field of work? Nyaya-Vaishesika is your field of work, I think.
Nyaya-Vaishesika and Sankhya Yoga.
Pankaj Yoga. Yeah. So
And
you are now doing your PhD on it.
Yes, sir.
With whom? Raghunath or with whom? Raghunath Ghosh.
Under the provision of Sobush Kuli Sen, Professor Sobush
Oh,
Kuli Sen.
okay. All right. Anyway, so what should I say? Yes, Pintu Das has touched every aspect of Naya theory of color or time, and whichever at any point when a question was arising in my mind, he has met it very nicely subsequently. Now the thing is, it is just a the viewpoint on which we may differ. But the problem is, what I should say, is this realistic aspect of time that Naya is giving, that time is eternal and time is that this type of eternality of time and the infinite version of time creates certain problems, along with when you are relating it with Arambhavada. The theory of the Asatkarjavada or Arambhavada. This is one point. You may further reflect on it. You have tried to answer it. Now, another point I would rather like to say, now, and here I would like to be with the about the mental construct theory, as the Buddhists have given, or even Buddha, even Vedantins, and also Kant. So these things you have to meet their challenges properly. So you have touched every aspect. Now, another thing, when you are talking about this eternality of time, you have also to mention, bring a comparative study with the relativity of time as given by Einstein. Because you see, you have posed all the versions of Professor Motilal, Nilkant Sastry, all these Nayaikas, and even you have brought the difference between Prasastapada and Gautama. So all this Jayanta Bhatta, these things you have made the distinction, the subjectivist and the objectivist amongst the Naya. So these things are all right. But this problem remains. The problem actually starts with this, that whether the knowledge of time is perceptual or inferential. This thing is the first, when you are meeting a student about the time, when you are making time as a category, eternal category or eternally, then whether it is perceptual or inferential. Because you see, definition of Pratyakha as you have given, that is not, that will not be tenable, because Abhyavichari Vyavasayatmaka Pratyaksham, how it will be in consonance with the Arambhavada theory. So that is one point that came to my mind. I have not worked much on Nyaya, but what I am gathering from your deliberation, anyway, it's an excellent deliberation. You are a young scholar. You have touched every aspect of Nyaya. So carry on. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ghosh. Actually, you raised very important issues. Pintu Das will follow your observations. Radhananda sir, will you speak something? Very briefly,
If you
sir.
allow me,
Sir,
Dr. Das.
only 2-3 minutes, sir.
No, Mr. Pintu has consumed a lot of our time because he is timeless, he is eternal, he can go on talking. Now, as Professor Ranjit Ghosh pointed out, I elaborate because I am a student of science and mathematics.
Oh, sir, it's a great
So
pleasure.
I will certainly quote Einstein. Two things are there with you. You say ether or soul, they cannot be contacted, they cannot be communicated, they cannot be linked.
Hmm.
Now, when it was pointed out to Einstein whether ether is there, the Eastern concept that the whole earth is surrounded by ether and ether pervades the whole world, he said one thing can be said, whether there is ether or not, there is constancy of time and its speed. That is, time moves at a constant speed, whether there is an obstacle of ether or there is emptiness. It is immaterial for us. Second, you talked about simultaneity. Our earth is almost spherical. It moves from west to east. It rotates. Now, when two things, what is time? Actually, to talk about time in the metaphysical world, which you have already discussed. That is a separate thing. But Einstein was not very much familiar with the eastern side of concept of time. He said simultaneity is a wrong concept because if you drop two things from somewhere to reach a same distance, it is not possible that they should maintain simultaneity. Reason? Earth moves from west to east. Whenever something has fallen and its companion also falls, they are following different paths or trajectories. Therefore, one trajectory moves maybe from east to west or from the other west to east. So the movement of the trajectory, the curve of the trajectory, that is slightly different because it cannot be observed on our terrestrial world because it is so small. But if you go think of the void, the cosmos itself, nothing like concept of simultaneity. Next, I may come across the other thing is called constancy of velocity of light. That is 186,000 miles per second or 300,000 kilometers per second. That remains fixed, whether there is ether or not, and there cannot be a concept of simultaneity. And I can say, because as you pointed out, this ether or soul cannot be a link. We don't bother about the connectivity of ether or soul because uh, whether ether or not, the constancy, the absoluteness of the speed of light is the same. It cannot change. So, of course, that's again a concept because everything is relative. You cannot say that something exists eternally true. And the funny story, which I always quote, when something was asked of Einstein, what is time and eternity? He simply said, I will take some time to explain you eternity, but you will take eternity to understand time. You see the language of Einstein. Therefore, so these are very abstruse, very difficult concept, and although it is not scientifically provable, there is something called ether and binding us or enveloping us, and we cannot dispense with it. And therefore, the modern concept is that even if there is no Einstein, there would be the recurrence of ether. So please take care. This is another dimension, may be helpful to you. Thank you.
Definitely, sir. It will help me in our research. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Acha, anybody else who will speak? Any student from Rajendra University? Will you ask any question to your teacher?
Although Pramod sir, actually you put your observation.
Okay. Thank you. I really appreciate the attempt of Mr. Pintu Das. I shall suggest one thing, very informal suggestion. If we fix a topic to deliver, to present, and the topic is time itself, so we can make a schedule of our speech. Technically, I am speaking. When in everywhere we should use it, no, not in this forum. When we are delivering a talk, we should confine our presentation to 45 minutes or 1 hour maximum. Maximum. No, not about this forum. Acha, we can speak 3 hours. It's good. But can we present the same thing in 15 minutes, in 30 minutes, in 45 minutes? So time determines our programming. This is the timing factor, that I can present the same thing in 10 minutes, same thing in 30 minutes, same thing in 45 minutes, same thing in 1 hour. How to do that? Now, we shall elaborate the points, but we should confine all the points, all the presentations to a particular period. So here time becomes a period. Time becomes periodical. Time, it becomes a time series, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It is called timing. Time and timing. What is the periodical flow of time? That is timing. My timing is 45 minutes. My timing is 1 hour. My timing is 90 minutes. The timing of this program is 2 hours. This way we can understand what is time and timing. Number one. Number two, in Nyaya-Vaishesika system, very nicely, I really appreciate you for your content. Therefore, we did not disturb you. We wanted you to continue because you gave many informations from the different literary sources of Indian philosophy about time. So that was very interesting and it is recorded. So when students will view this video again and again, they will learn many things from your deliberation. And you made very beautiful distinctions how time is used as substance and as a relational way, how time can be used. The time that is undivided, eternal, and the same time is also the condition of all divisions. That time is metaphysical, and that same time is also epistemological, when it helps in joining the discrete perceptions or discrete flow of a cognition. It is joined by timing. You gave that example also. There are two types, two steps of a perception, nirvikalpa and sarvikalpa. There also we can understand time sequence. In the nirvikalpa, we see nothing. That is, but there is existence, but it is nirvikalpa. This is time one, and in time two, we have the sabikalpa. We have the characteristics of the object. So this is an epistemological exploration. You can add it that in the way of nirvikalpa and sabikalpa, it is the time sequence that makes this distinction. That in the first phase, I see nothing. I see something that is substantial. But in the time two, in the passage of time, I come down to the level of sabikalpa. That means the manifestations. Whatever is visible to me through my sense organs. So we can understand nirvikalpa and sabikalpa because of time. Secondly, you also said very beautifully that abhava is understood because of time.
Yes.
If existence is time specific, similarly the absence of something is also time specific. Something exists and something does not exist. These two things cannot take place at one time. Existence at one, you will add in this way. I am telling your things in another way. So at the same time, we cannot experience both existence and non-existence, bhava and abhava. Therefore, two categories are there: 6 bhava categories and 1 abhava category. These two dialectics, bhava and abhava, cannot be experienced at one time. So we need a sequence of time to understand the bhava, and then if it is absent, then it is abhava. And very beautifully you said that though there is past, present and future, in every sequence time can stand as eternal. Suppose we take time in the present sense, that presently it exists. You are claiming that it is not a temporal existence. This existence is eternal, and that is true. That is true so far as Nyaya-Vaishesika system is concerned, so far as the Vedanta is concerned. Existence is not illusion, it is not destroyed, neither in past, nor in present, nor in future. It is always full. It is always fulfilled. Nothing is destroyed. So it subsists its eternality in the sequence of timing. So in what way we are discussing? We are discussing the time dimensions. That time can function as a substance, and at the same time can be used from the vyavaharika satta, from the practical use. From the perspective of divisions, from the perspective of analysis of now, then, late, sooner. In this way, we can analyze. So because of that analysis, because of that practical sense of division, and because of all instruments of our practical behavior, time is very much required. So time functions in double ways. It is metaphysical, because how it is metaphysical? Because that is the primordial source through which cognition is possible, through that is also said by Immanuel Kant, synthetic apperception. In synthetic apperception, what happens? In the discrete perceptions, one thing is substantial, that is time. So in time 1, time 2, time 3, time 4, the perceptions are discrete, but they are united. They are united. What are united? The discrete perceptions are united, and that makes a judgment. So judgment is possible only because of time sequence. Otherwise, judgment is not possible. Another thing is that you cannot have double experience or triple experience or multiple experience at one time. Our sense organs are so organized, we cannot have double perception at one time. I am giving an example. Suppose you are looking at television screen. If you are focusing on dance part, you cannot focus on the song part. But it appears that you are perceiving both simultaneously. But actually, there is a nirvikalpa and a sabvikalpa. Sometimes dance becomes a nirvikalpa and song becomes sabvikalpa. Sometimes if you focus on song, then song becomes a nirvikalpa and dance becomes the secondary. So what becomes your primary concern of perception, that is only because of your priority of giving time to one perception. That is a choice. Suppose you are going on the road, you are observing many things, but that is not observation. Observation is that when you observe something minutely, giving full attention, and at that time you are focused of a particular. Suppose you see a beautiful girl on the road, so your mind was diverted to that girl at the cost of other scenes. There is a wounded dog, there is a broken car, there are many things on the road, but your attention went to that beautiful girl. That proves that time, in at one time you can focus at one thing, and that is also we understand as meditation or concentration. In many languages we understand that. So what I mean to say, time explains the diversity, time explains the differentiation, the gap in the cognitive series. It only because of time we can have a judgment, we can have a full knowledge, and we can have a series of. Same thing is said by Buddha. Buddha said that it is only a flow. It is a time is a flow. There is no substance. Time is only a flow. And Nyaya-Vaishesika accepts both the flow and the source. Very beautifully it is explained. And time is such a dravya which can explain all dravyas and also all categories. In that sense, time is very much primordial. Another beautiful thing you said, that soul cannot be the connective link, because if everything is soulful, everything is pure consciousness, then we cannot make such a difference, because everything becomes conscious. So in that sense, am I right?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
Very
So
much right, sir.
for
Yes,
making a distinction, we cannot have a sameness. So time disturbs the sameness.
yes.
Therefore,
True,
time explains the distinctions. It is
true.
because of time only we can understand the distinction, otherwise not. That may be called Maya in Vedanta,
Maya and
but
Vedanta, right?
that Maya is very useful. Otherwise, we cannot make a distinction between wife and sister-in-law, father-in-law and father. In a relation also, we understand one relation at one time. Suppose I pretend like a son before my father. At that particular time, I am doing that role of a son, and I my body language is like that. Suppose I am doing the role of Ravana on the stage, and at that time I am Ravana. But in time 2, I may play the role of Narada. Time 3, I may play the role of Rama. So in our personal relation also, we make one, we exercise one type of body language. Okay. So in relationship also, time is very necessary because we cannot play all roles at one time. That may be a very fraction of a moment. Here, time means the fraction of a moment. Suppose in a drawing room, there are different types of people. Father-in-law is there, husband is there, my brother-in-law is there. Many people are there. Daughter-in-law, how daughter-in-law behaves? She deals with all people, but at a fraction of a moment when she is dealing with the mother-in-law, that is specific. And when she is dealing with her husband, that is also specific. So that specific attention comes only in the time sequence. Otherwise, we cannot live our practical life. But beyond this beyond Maya means this practical life, we have the understanding of a metaphysics of time, that time is eternal, because time is the source of all cognition. Time transcends all distinctions. In that sense also, Nyaya-Vaishesika give honor to time. Very nicely presented, and I shall request last words from Abhinav Srivastava. Last word, because he is present here and he is a scholar of Indian philosophy. Abhinav sir, please have your last comment.
In fact, it is a wonderful presentation full of information. But one thing I would like to say here about Buddha, you have also narrated about Buddha. For Buddha, the time is a threefold present. The past is the present memory, the present is the present experience, and the future is the present expectation. So, in that way, the time is a very relative term, and for him particularly, the time is one, and that is the present. When I think about the past, I think in it in the present, and if we expect about the future, we expect in the present, and that's why he says categorically that the time is a threefold present. Second thing, you say it is a continuous flow, as he said that one cannot take in a river bath twice, because one moment that is passed from there is naturally it is away from there. It is simply memory. It is there. So it is a continuous flow. We cannot bath in the same river twice. In the same way, yeah. In the same way, it is difficult to understand for Buddha the time is eternal, because for him that there is only one time, and that is the present. Thank you very much for your wonderful speech.
Actually, Heraclitus and Baxo have shown the same way as the Buddha says.
Yeah.
and one thing I shall say, when Dr. Ghosh said that it is incompatible with Arambhavada, what I now explained, in that explanation, Arambhavada is not a problem. Arambhavada is not a problem because the time functions with Arambhavada. At every time there is an Arambha, and that is how time is explained, otherwise not. So, for example, bhava and abhava, something exists and it does not exist. Even destruction is also arambha. Creation is arambha. That means a new beginning. A new beginning is taking place in the flow of time. This is one aspect of timing. But the other aspect is, it is constant, it is eternal, it is the witness of all changes, it is metaphysical. So Arambhavada is concerned so far as we deal with our practical life, so far as we take our perceptions as real, so far as we take the empirical world as real. There we have to understand Arambhavada in a very scientific way, and that is possible only by time. If we shall out time concept from our mind, we cannot understand any arambhavad. Something is arambha means it begins with time one, then time two, time three, then in the time n it will continue, and between that we just calculate conventionally according to human calculation. This is my arambha and this is my session or end. This is called maya in vedanta. Okay.
Same thing has
Thank
been
you. Now, yes. Your last
Uh,
word, Pintu sir. Your last word.
Dr. Das,
explained.
Sir, one
Dr.
more thing I would like
Das,
to ask. What he has explained, that is the particularly in Buddha there is not a ontic existence of the time, because they are not creating any ontology of the time. On the contrary, if you happen to see the Nyaya and Vaishesika, they have here the time has a ontic existence also, and that's why all these things, Arambhavad and all these things are there. Otherwise, ontological discussion is found in Nyaya-Vaishesika. On the contrary, even in Vedanta, this ontic existence of the time is not exactly presented there.
True. Very much true.
True. And
This is
another thing. I we have crossed the time, but it is very interesting. I am just telling. When he said that time is both active and inactive, Buddha also said that in a momentariness, everything exists for a moment. Everything exists for a moment. But the moment it exists, it has the momentum for the next moment. That means that momentary existence is so potential, that is called causal potency, to produce the next moment's event. So that moment may be transitory, may be temporary, but that is full of energy. It is full of a momentum. Momentum means the moment with an agenda, the moment with some activities, future activities. So in that sense, he said, the speaker said that in present tense also, when we say something exists, it is not useless. It is not just passing away. It is also full of a potency, according to Buddha, who does not believe time as a substance. This is the great thing.
yes.
Time is temporal, but it is full of a potency. That is called pratitya samutpada. That means yes. Any utpada is pratitya. It is dependent on something.
Actually,
So,
Chandrakirti has case on this issue.
He says categorically.
Yes.
He
Yes.
says categorically.
Then what is the conclusion according to Buddha? Time is the only factor through which you can understand pratitya samutpada, and who understand pratitya samutpada, he understand the dharma.
Yeah, you are right in that way. He says categorically, I tell you, asmin sati tad bhavati, asmin asati tad vinastati, and asmin upajja tad upajjati. So in that way, he talks of the momentariness of everything, and in that way, it doesn't have the time, doesn't have the ontic existence. Secondly, you say that the one time is full of potential. It is only thing you are thinking time in a very ontic way. Your ontological existence you are accepting. Yeah, every time is time is momentary and it is passing away, but it does not exist neither in past nor in present nor in future. It also appears in the present only. That's why he categorically says the time is a threefold present. Past is the present memory, future is the present expectation, only present is the present uh, experience. Yeah, present experience.
Okay. Thank you all. So okay,
Dr. P.K. Das,
yes, sir.
as an exponent of Gita, I expected you to quote Lord Krishna. I
Yes.
am time, the devourer of all, the destroyer of all things. You have missed
Yes,
that.
yes.
Or you didn't want to talk because of lack of time. Maybe it is just an instruction to put you, our
yes,
grand
sir. Yes, sir. On time.
grand student
On.
and research scholar.
Yes,
So
yes,
we
yes,
wish
yes.
him all the best.
Yes,
Godspeed to
yes,
your
yes.
thesis. Be a
It
doctor.
is really a wonderful,
And
wonderful expression.
Very nice, very
And
nice.
that's right.
but
That's right.
one thing
It is
Vedanta says, "Kalo nam sarvabhutanam viparinama het." So time is a very important factor
You
for all
see,
things.
sir, in Bhagavad Gita,
we loosely speak of it.
Dr.
Time will
Behra,
speak.
Dr.
Okay, we'll
Behra,
stop here.
Dr.
Thank you.
Behra, Dr. Behra, in Bhagavad Gita, the time concept is very well discussed in connection with the Vishwarupa Darshana. When Lord Krishna showed Vishwarupa Darshana, that is the full agenda of time. But when he is doing, when he is advising Arjuna to do his swadharma, to do his duty, that is the divisional aspect of time. That in particular context you do your swadharma. Battlefield is a particular place. Battle is a particular timing, and in that timing you should do your swadharma. You do for something for lokasangraha. This is the divisional time aspect. But when he is showing the Vishwarupa Darshana, that is the total timing. That is the total time, total agenda. That means the unmanifested time and the manifested time both are discussed in Bhagavad Gita. Thank you. This reference is also there in the Bhagavad Gita. So now we shall go with Professor Maharana for a vote of thanks.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Das. Till now, we were listening to the wonderful observations made by our learned participants, Professor Ranjit Ghosh sir, Professor Radhanath Behra sir, Professor Abhinash, and Professor Pramod Kumar Das. After listening the brilliant speech of Pintu Das, and today we all have enjoyed. We have enjoyed the talk. We have enjoyed the observations. We have also enjoyed the responses made by Mr. Pintu Das. And today, I don't have any words how to appreciate the brilliant talk of Mr. Pintu Das. And today, Mr. Pintu Das has given a very conceptual analysis of time in connection to the philosophy of Nyaya-Vaishesika for more than 1.5 hours. He has given his talk, he has given his observation and stand in connection to the philosophy of Nyaya-Vaishesika, and he has very clearly said that how Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy is a logical metaphysical system of Indian philosophy, how it is very much philosophical and scientific, how it has a realistic and pluralistic approach, and he has very clearly described the characteristics of time, and he has his distinction between Mahakala and Khandakala has amazed us, and he has given that how there the limitation of the connectivity of substances with each other, and time is a substance and which has the capacity of connectivity, and you have given everything. You have everything, and I don't want to I don't want to give more reflection on it on your talk. And today, your brilliant talk has amazed us, has inspired the young scholars, okay, to that is to work on it. And I think your work is a very good work, good research work, and the way you have analyzed it from the beginning to end, I have never listened such a very comprehensive talk that is on time in relation to the Nyaya-Vaishesika philosophy. And you have collected so much information that has amazed me. Okay, thanks so much, Mr. Pintu Das, for the very brilliant that research work on it. So I hope your research work will be very innovative one. Okay, thanks so much. We have all best wishes to you, and we extend our gratitude to our learned participants. That is to all the four professors, Professor Ranjit Ghosh sir, Professor Radhanath Bera sir, Professor Avinash, and Professor Pramod Das for a brilliant observation. I also propose my thanks to all the young scholars, young students, that they are with us till the end of this webinar, till the end of this program. Thanks so much. Okay, I extend a happy gratitude to all the viewers of this webinar. Now, I would like to request Professor Pramod Das to wind up the session.
Yes, last I shall request Pintu Das sir.
Professor Pramod Das, okay,
Yes.
please wind up the session.
Okay, yes. At the last, I shall request Pintu sir to prepare another topic, but make
Sure,
your
sir.
materials confined to only 45 minutes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Next time.
Okay,
Thank
sure,
you.
sir.
Thank
Sure.
you. Thank you.
Thank
The session is
you.
declared closed. Thank you.
Okay.